This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're going to try to tackle the impossible task of reviewing the 5th chapter over here, which is a very difficult chapter, but we'll try to take out of it what is most nogeal in Yonenu, and let's begin and end in the following way, that every act of Chesed that we do down here in this world, aside from the obvious ramifications of helping people, which cannot ever be overlooked, nevertheless, it has even, the ramifications of our acts transcend this world and the effects in this world, and namely, and perhaps more importantly, is the effects that it has in the various spheros. So this is the midah of Chesed, and I guess I'm going to be using the Sefer as well as the list, and if anybody wants the list, I see Gedalia Schwartz is on. Please contact him or me and we'll get you on. And we give a big ashkach to Rav Nassim Mulder for putting together this summary. So let's begin the 5th chapter, which is the midah of Chesed. And the midah of Chesed is best described as loving Hashem completely, not to forsake His avodah for any cause. And the reason why one would not forsake the avodah of Hashem for any cause is because the most important thing in the world is avodas Hashem. And therefore, in life in general, one should always be first conscious. Okay, when do I need to daven? When do I need to learn? And after that, think about, okay, when do I need to do everything else I need to do? How am I going to make a living? How am I going to eat? But the first thought and the first focus needs to be avodas Hashem. And no matter what is dished out to a person, whether Rebbeinu Shem gives a person what seems to be toiva ubracha, or whether Rebbeinu Shem gives a person tzara and what seems to be hardship, one should say that nevertheless I accept it bi-ahava, and by doing so one is schlepping in and bringing in anything that occurs. B'chol midah u'midah shu moeded l'cha Hashem is schlepping it into Chesed. And this was the midah of Nachum ish gam zu. Nachum would say, even this is also l'toiva. And he would attach it to Chesed. And the Devorah quotes the Tikunei Zohar in the Hakdama, that what is a Chesed? Someone who does Chesed with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? There's nothing that the Rebbeinu Shalom needs. So the Devorah explained that through the Chesed that we do here in this world, we should be mechavein for the tikkun that occurs upstairs. So Devorah outlines basically 8 ways to influence Chesed in Shamayim, and we'll do as best as we can. Number 1, when a baby is born, you need to do Chesed to the baby to prepare all of its mezainos. So therefore, says the Devorah, there is a Leda upstairs. The Leda upstairs is like we have over here, is Bina. Bina gives birth to Mishpat. Mishpat is another word for Tiferes. And we want to make sure that Tiferes, Mishpat, is Yoitse La'ar, that we're going to say on the Yom Naraim, V'soitzi Ka'ar Mishpatenu Ayam Kadosh. And therefore, when one cares for a baby, one ensures that upstairs in Shamayim, Tiferes, which is Mishpat, is pulled L'tzad HaToiv. So the next time you feed a baby, change a diaper, soothe the crying baby, realize that you're accomplishing more than just that, and namely, you are ensuring that Mishpat, Tiferes, but Mishpat is L'Toiva. Number 2 is Mila. We brought over here, in the summary we have over here a very important idea of the concept of retroactive free choice, which means that even after something has already transpired and you were not thinking b'shas ma'isa, you could go back and supply thought to it. So number 2 is a perfect example, and that is to remove the arla. Now we know in this world removing the arla means removing the foreskin, but in the shamayim it means removing all blockages that may occur, that may stop the shefa from flowing from one surah to the next. And that is accomplished by affecting the hearts, and like it says over here, bringing people back to tshuva, by removing the foreskin of their hearts. So when one influences other people, one thereby influences the heavens to remove the arla up there. Number 3, Bikor Chaylim. when one visits the sick in this world, there is a parallel effectuation in the upper world, it says over here. And this is also accomplished by good deeds. And the Talmud Devorah says that in Shamayim there are cholim. What are the cholim in Shamayim? When the Shechina, which is Malchus, the seventh Sefira, so Shechina again is Malchus, the seventh Sefira, which is, so to speak, the Isha, when it unites with the other six Sfiros, which is Kutchabrichu, and both, by the way, the Shechina, which is in Galus, is lovesick, and sometimes even Kutchabrichu is moved out of its place, and it's also Begeder Choyle, and we need to be mevaker them, and that is accomplished, as it says over here, through learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, as the Talmud Devorah says. Number 4, to give tzedakah to the aniyim. And who are the aniyim? Yisoid and Malchus. We want them to get together. Yisoid is the sixth sefira, which gathers all the shefa from the upper spheroids, and Malchus is where it delivers it to. Now, when one gives tzedakah, he does tzedakah on high. And the Talmud Devorah brought the Kabbalistic concept that tzedakah is Rashi Tevos, like it says over here. Tzadik stands for 90 amenim, 4 Dalet stands for the 4 Kedushas, Kuf stands for 100 brachos, and Hey, the Chamishe Chumshe Torah. And the Talmud Devorah said that the various forms of Chesed, be it Leket, be it Shikcha, that somehow comes from the Omer HaElyon, Peah, which comes from Malchus, and Meiser Ani. Malchus is called Meiser because it's the 10th Sefira, and Yisoid is the Ani. Okay, number 5, inviting the guests. Who are the guests? When you give a guest something to eat, to drink, and to escort them, you are giving lodging to Tiferes and Yisoid, that they should be able to rest in Malchus. Now this is very much accomplished when one travels. Those who exile themselves from their home in order to toil in Torah, by going into Galus to toil in Torah, by sort of leaving the comfort of your 4 cubits and toiling in Torah in a place that you don't have your comforts, they cause the guests to be busy with the needs of Malchus. And one of the ideas that Talmud Devorah said is, you need to bring in Tiferes and Yisoid to Malchus with Achila, with Shasiya, and with Levaya. And by accomplishing Hachnasas Archim downstairs, and by going into Galus to learn Torah, one brings lodging to Tiferes and to Yisoid in Malchus. So the next time you invite a guest, or the next time you leave your home to learn Torah, one should have in mind he is making things comfortable for the guests, Tiferes and Yisoid by Malchus. Then, number 6, Esek HaChayim HaMeis, when a person is Esek with a mace. Now there's a concept, the Talmud Devorah says, that sometimes spheroids are darkened, dampened, and they appear as if they're in a state of Misa. And through being involved in the needs of the dead, of the Mesim, and one of the kavanos of Kvura is Vayikbar Oisai Bagai, which is translated as the 13 pathways of Rachamim. One is able to effectuate and awaken and arouse these midos and these spheroids that have gone into some kind of slumber. Number 7, Hachnasas Kala L'chuppah, which is really the purpose of all yichudim and shamayim, whereas the whole essence of our tefillos is to be machnes the chasan, the kala, into the chuppah, which is accomplished primarily through tefillah. And we spend time explaining how the various tefillos that we offer are connecting the 4 worlds, which are this world, which is for karbonos and berchas hashachar, and psukkah de zimra, which is olam ha-yitzira, and berchas kriyashma, the Olam Habriya, and Shemona Esrei, which is the Olam Ha'atzilos. And finally, Shminis, which is bringing peace between man and his friend, which is making peace between Tiferes and Yisoid, because sometimes they veer off, sometimes Tiferes goes to the right and Yisoid goes to the left, and between husband and wife, between Tiferes and Malchus, and the Midah of Shalom is Yesod. The bottom line is that one should be aware when they perform Chesed, or the truth of the matter is any mitzvah, there is much more to what you are achieving than meets the eye. That the ramifications of every mitzvah and every Chesed are throughout the entire galaxy and throughout the entire universe. And particularly, when one does a Chesed, even though one may not know exactly what your Chesed is doing, but realize every different type of Chesed is accomplishing something else in the Shamayim. So the Rebbe Shalom should give us zechusim to mekayim all the various chasadim, and we should be able to be meyached all the various yichudim. And the bottom line is, when your wife says, go take care of the baby, don't say, I'm too busy. Do it. You never know. First of all, it's good for you. And second of all, you may be changing the entire world. Or at least changing that baby. But be it as it may, through these various chasadim, we are able to bring chesed throughout the universe. Okay, so Be'ezus Hashem, Monday, we will begin Perek Shishi. Okay, Rabbi Say, have a wonderful day and great Shabbos. Tomorrow, stay tuned and have a good day, everyone. Kol Tov. Be well.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.